Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Huckton Henshins. Welcome to part 3 of Rider Retrospectives on Kamen Rider Ghost. If you haven't watched the first two parts, I'll kind of give you a little rundown. First part was about, part 1 focused on the story slash writing and the characters. Um, the second part focused on aesthetics and then also music slash sound design. This one's going to focus on my last part here, which is a conclusion to it. It's going to be fight choreography and then going into final thoughts and my rating for the season. If I've somehow offended you, if you love Ghost with all your heart and I've not, lived it up to what you think it should be as far as how it should be applauded or whatever, I'm sorry. I do like the season. I just have different thoughts about it, and that's kind of the beauty of the fandom in general, is that each season does something different for other people. Some people like this season, some people don't like this one, some people resonated, some people don't. So anyway, that out of the way, here we go. So fight choreography overall, really well done in this one. I like the use of the wire fu kind of to like have them float through the air and do different kinds of attacks and things like that. The different attacks with the kicks and the weapons, like the sword and the gun and stuff like that, are really well put together, and they feel unique from each other. The way that Ghost fights, the way that Spectre fights, and Necrom fights all feel very unique, and when they come together, it's really cool to see those styles work with each other and play off each other. It also gets unique and really cool, really takes it up another notch when you add in the different forms based on the icons. So then each form fights uniquely. You got Billy the Kid that's using mainly shooting and projectiles, as opposed to Musashi who's like sword slashing, as opposed to, I don't know, Newton who's like, gravity pulse and stuff like that. When you add onto that the different like primary forms like Ghost, Tokan Boost, and then Grateful, and then the uh, Mugen. Mugen. Yeah, the Mugen form. Um, all of those forms also fight very different from each other. Tokan Boost feels very powerful. There's a lot of use of heat and passion in it. The Grateful has a lot of where he can utilize the different abilities of all the icons. And Mugen even feels very different. Very godlike almost. And similarly with Spectre's forms and Necrom's forms as well. So overall, the fight choreography is really something to behold, and it really adds into the aesthetic of like the spooky kind of creepy, unnatural feel they're going for. That isn't there all the time, but is there enough that you get it with the fights and with the suits and everything else. Just another layer of how cool the show is overall. Um, so yeah, so like I said, I really do enjoy the fight sequences in the show. They do a good job of having meaningful fights. Like the one I think about the most is one between Takaru and Jin, I think was his name, one of the general guys. When he gets Tokan Boost and finally beats him is a really big moment. Some of the fights between the pivotal fights between him and Makoto are really good. Until they start working together. The ones between Spectre and Necrom are good, especially the one where Necrom beats Spectre and then puts his icon, the Necrom icon, into his driver and like forcibly takes control of Spectre. Um, and overall, we just get some really awesome fights. The fights with the Gamma Gods are cool. I just don't care about the fight all that much because I don't care about the Gamma Gods. They don't have a lot of backstory. They're just like these unbeatable forces that eventually are beaten. So, anyway, overall fight choreography, I really do enjoy in this show. Um, so getting to my final thoughts, Kamen Rider Ghost will always hold a special place in my heart. Now that I've seen other series past it, I mean, since I've not missed a season and clearly I've gone back and watched older seasons too, um, it probably would rank a little lower than other seasons. It's not a terrible season. It's not nearly as bad as some people give it crap for. I do think the last like quarter ish of it kind of gets really bumpy with its narrative, especially with um, Alan's brother and him kind of becoming part of the Gamma Gods, then getting killed, and then they still use his form and whatever. Once you lose the human face of somebody for the villain there in this season, you kind of stop caring about the villains and you really just focus on Takaru and the rest of the characters. Um, so I would say the weaker part is probably the story, but the characters and the overall aesthetics, the music and sound design, and the fight choreography are all so great for this season. They truly are. Um, so it is on a scale of 1 to 10. So I think my final rating for this would probably be somewhere around 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. Probably more than a 7.5. It's still a fun show to watch. And believe me, if there are some huge Ghost fans out there that are hating me right now, let me know in the comments. I take all kinds. That's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me, and I definitely would love to have discussions about it. I don't hate the season by any means. I really don't think it deserves the hatred that it gets. I think that's goofy because every season of Kamen Rider has weird, silly parts or just parts that don't make any sense that are bothersome. And every season has it. Every single one of them. So I think people just don't really think about the idea that like each season is completely different from the last, and that also they're all going to have filler and like kind of dud episodes. You know, I enjoy 01, but there's a whole ass arc, the competition arc, that I hate, but the most of the show I love. You know, um, so I would probably give it somewhere around a 7.5/8 out of 10. Um, it's by no means an awful season. It does not deserve the hatred that some people give it. But if you're looking for a very, unique take on Kamen Rider, a very spooky, spectral, horror-ish, kind of ish themed season, sort of horror, not really, but kind of. It's really good, and honestly, it's a lot of fun to watch around Halloween and stuff like that. Not that it's a scary show, but the way it's put together is very like hinges on the aesthetic of being spooky and creepy and stuff like that. Um, there are creepier seasons and other seasons that have way crazier shit going on, like Amazons and stuff like that. But overall, Ghost is a really, really good season. I really enjoy it. I don't enjoy it as much as some of the other ones we'll talk about later. I think after this one, I probably will talk about Build, and then I'll start getting into some of the seasons that I have actual props for, like belts and stuff to show you guys. um, but yeah, overall, Ghost will always hold a special place in my heart. It was the first season I ever watched, and without it, I would not be where I am today, wearing a, you know, three generations rider shirt here with 01 on the bottom and Kuga and Ichigo, and knowing who they are and seeing their seasons even. You know, I'm pretty deep into the series now. I mean, I watch Ichigo, Kuga, Decade, Double. I've watched Ichigo and then Kuga, and then Decade through to now. I've watched. So all of the Heisei era, pretty much. The Heisei Phase 2 era, I'm sorry. I have not watched all of Heisei. I need to watch Heisei Phase 1. I'm working on that. And so clearly I would not have stuck with it this long if it didn't have a season that brought me in that I loved dearly. Um, has there been seasons clearly since Ghost that I like more? Absolutely. Right now, one of my favorites is 01, and I really, really enjoyed that season. Um, and does that mean I'll never talk about like something like Saber? No, but right now I'm not vibing with it as well, and I don't want to stumble for content with a season that I don't enjoy as much as other people do, and like be fake about it. Like I'm not saying it's the worst season ever. I'm just not as happy with it, but I'm glad that other people are finding things to like. In it, that's the cool thing, like I said about Kamen Rider, and why this retrospective series is fun for me, because I want to try and highlight the strengths and weaknesses of different seasons, so that someone watching goes, hey, you know what, that sounds pretty cool, or I've watched enough of this, I don't want to get too many spoilers, so that sounds cool, I want to try this season out. So yeah, so that's how I feel about Ghost overall. Like I said, the next video for this series will probably be on Kamen Rider Build, talking about, again, the story slash writing, the characters, the aesthetics, so suits, belts, gimmicks, effects, whatever, music slash sound design, and then finally fight choreography and my final thoughts and rating. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this for Kamen Rider Ghost. If you didn't, that's fine too. Give me a dislike. I don't care. Comment below what you guys thought of the series overall. What did you think of the fight choreography and overall the series? Do you think it gets more hatred than what's necessary? And yeah, and as always, stay hooked on Henshins. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for liking, sharing, watching the videos. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.